Hey guys, welcome back. This is Deal the Collector coming to you with a brand new video on the channel, kind of a bonus video if you will, because this was a surprise pickup even for me over here. So today we have in front of us here the brand new The Dark Knight Rises Armory with Bruce Wayne. I was on the fence on this one. I wasn't sure if this was gonna be something I was picking up. And you guys know me, I'm a huge Batman fan. So this was very tempting and I just had to see it for myself here. So I don't know if I'm gonna keep it. I don't know if I'm gonna like it. I haven't opened it up yet. I wanted to wait until we can do this together. So I'm gonna give you guys my thoughts and kind of let you guys know what I think about it, and also see if this might be something you guys might want to get now that you watch the video. So let's go ahead and get into it here and get this figure and set out of the box. But before we do that, don't forget guys to hit that like, subscribe, and bell notification if you like content like this and you want to see more in the future. All right guys, without further ado, let's get into it. All right guys, so let's start with the armor here. This is the biggest piece that you're going to be adding into your display cases, so I wanted to give this its own personal spotlight. We'll get to Batman and Bruce Wayne in a second, but this here is probably the part that honestly I was probably more excited about, just because I wanted to see like what the end result was going to be like here, because I've had experience with the original Armory and I liked it, but there were some things that I honestly couldn't wrap my head around. They just felt like some things they didn't quite click with me, and I just kind of fell out of love with that set over time. And it was just kind of one of those things where, like, if I had a second swing at it, I wish Hot Toys would make Armory that had a little bit more stability. The accessories would fall out in the original one, and Batman wouldn't sit quite well in there, basically because you had to take the boots off. So I wanted to see what Hot Toys can do if they had a second swing at it, and they decided to go with the later model of the Armory from the Dark Knight Rises. I said, you know what, this is a perfect opportunity to take a look at this set and see, if is this going to be a better option than the Armory 2.0, because that one's pretty much a straight up reissue regarding the Armory's part of the set, minus the USB portion that they're going to be installing. So I have an idea of what that's going to be like if I got that in hand. So I wanted to know if this would be a better option for me and for other collectors, and just kind of give you guys my thoughts on this here. I will say 100% confidence, yes, it actually is. It is actually quite remarkable how simple this case looks, but you'll be surprised at just how well built it is, how much detail is on there. Not all of it's gonna be caught on camera. You're really gonna appreciate it more when you see it in person, I'll be honest. But what you know about the set here from the description, what I can tell you about my experience with it is, number one, the acrylic has a rain effect style on the display there. I love that. It's smart, it's well thought out. This is easily could be a fingerprint magnet if Hot Toys didn't go the extra mile and add these effects, but because it does, you're able to touch it and it's not going to smudge up the case. You're not going to wind up cleaning this 24/7, which obviously would take the whole fun out of having this set, quite frankly. Now, another pro thing as well here, and I'll show you that guys just a little bit later on, is that the accessories fit so much better than they did the original one, simply because they're in case of another acrylic case within the Armory. So you're going to simply put them in the casing and then slide it into the Armory itself, and that's where they'll rest. Once you get them in, they're pretty secure. They're not going to move around. They're not going to fall out. So I, for one, appreciate that, because that was a big headache I had with my original set. Now, full transparency, this one is going to be a lot larger than the original one there was. This Armory sits at 43 centimeters high, 11 centimeters wide, and about 25 centimeters deep here. So it is all the much bigger of the two that you're going to have there. I like it because I'll show you guys in a second. Batman fits so much better in that, and the fact that my accessories fit better, my Batman fits better, automatic. I can tell you from my experience with both of them, I much prefer this one out of the two. We'll go into more about the Armory a little bit in more detail with the lights and the accessories inside, but for now, let's kind of take a look at the next thing that was a concern for me, which was Bruce Wayne himself. Okay, starting with the head sculpt over here, just kind of giving you like my first impressions. The head sculpt isn't bad. It isn't bad at all. I would probably call it maybe a 7.5, maybe a 7. Now, the only thing that obviously is an issue for me here is what I'm kind of pointing out right now, which is the seam line, the jagged seam line of the hair here, which is a really interesting choice here, because it just, you see there's a lot of gap there. It's very distracting. I wouldn't say it necessarily noticeable, because I'm realistic. I never am going to look at this figure from this position in real time when I have it in my display. It's only going to be for what I'm showing you guys here. So is it going to be a problem? No, because I mean, you're never going to see it again, right? But you do know it's there, so I understand that could be annoying as well too. So now the separate eye rolling system, really solid. I like it on this head sculpt here. I definitely think I can do some things with it, because this is going to be doing over the heavy lifting, because obviously once we're done with looking at the head sculpt, we're going to put it on the body and see how it looks together, because I know that's been the big question mark about this set here. So I'm not going to make you guys wait. We're going to do that next. But yeah, those eyes are going to be clutch, because we're going to need every ounce of aura this thing can give us, because that body is not going to be doing anything for us. Okay, let's get right into it here. So this is going to be probably the first thing about this set that probably no surprise to anybody who was concerned. It's going to hear, I don't like this. I don't like this here. Don't get me wrong. Proportions look very good. It's very hefty. It's, you know, it doesn't feel cheap. It definitely feels like it can stand on its own. So it's no way, this is not a craftsmanship issue. For me, it's a collector issue. I'm a collector of figures, and figures pose. If I wanted a statue, I'd buy a statue, right? That's always the thing we always say here in the community, right? Now, this seamless power pose is not what I was flaws are. See, I'm pointing out right there. There's lines in the molding that you can see to drop down all the way from where I can point to the short all the way to the ankle. That's an eyesore. Like, if this was the purpose of doing this was to give you a more realistic quote unquote figure in power pose, then I should not be seeing things like that. Like, it's like, it looks terrible. Now the arms, they're hollow, but I mean, they do the job there. They sit close to the chest here, which is ideal. But take a look at this. This is where, like, come on. You're going to tailor a shirt that doesn't even cover the imperfections of the seam lines from the arms that you installed in this power pose. That's a joke. How am I supposed to fix it? I can try to pull it down, but I mean, it's really not going to do much there. It's just going to pretty much stay the way it is there, because it keep rolling up because of how it sits on the actual body. This was a colossal failure. This should have been a figure. There's no arguments about that. I think this was a colossal miss, and I hope this is something that Hot Toys never does again, because this right here kind of dings the value of this particular piece. This should have been $100 less, because this figure is not worth it at all. The head sculpt still looks great together, but just, yeah, terrible. Okay, saving the best for last here. This is the biggest reason everybody wants to pick this up over here, which is the new Batman Armory suit. So this is the well-renowned, controversial replacement for the DX19, which we've talked about in nausea over the last few years. This suit, I cannot argue, is 100% the best Batman we've ever gotten from Hot Toys. Really, just honestly, it truly is the best one. Proportion wise, are out of this world. I have always been a fan of this suit, but I always felt that Hot Toys lacked in this regard of giving us a quality version of it there. And I've bought countless ones. If you follow me, you know my story. I've bought almost every single version of this suit here. So I can tell you from full-on experience, proportions are money. The height is perfect. The gauntlets still have that poking out thing here, which has been an issue forever, but you know what? It's not as bad. They're not as as it was before. The torso and all that looks like it's a little beefier than it has been before. This is outstanding. I am very, very happy with this here, and I want to take a closer look at the cowl. Okay, I'll make this part brief here. Is this the best head sculpt they've ever made? Yes. Is it the best one I've ever seen? No. I am definitely going to get a replacement for this one at some point. It is serviceable. It is definitely, like I said, better. But for me at this point, I want to get the best one. So this will do for now. Okay, so I stripped the figure down real quick because I want to go over assembling the figure with the cape installed as well here. So you can see I'm pointing to the two holes that you would typically find with a Hot Toys one. This is how you insert the clip that's attached to the cape, and the cape onto the figure. So touching on the quality of the cape, I got to tell you, surprise, surprise, this is actually, in my opinion, the best cape Hot Toys has ever made for the Dark Knight. Really, really, this is a phenomenal cape. I honestly don't even know if I really want to upgrade it. There's always great options out there, but I don't know if I really need to this time, because I gotta say the quality of it is a lot better. Now, is it accurate? No, it's still not a velvet cape, but I think honestly, for most collectors, this is perfectly fine. I'm actually very, very happy with this. So shout out to Hot Toys for finally getting it right after a million attempts at a new Dark Knight there. But I digress. Putting everything over here together, I'm just gonna go ahead and make sure that I got everything fit, situated correctly. Excuse me, some of this is kind of off camera. I'm just trying to do this in real time. Gonna get and put the neck peg in here. Now this is a part of the upgrade there. The body has been the standout, but part of why it looks so good is because the neck is a lot wider and a lot thicker than it's ever been before. He's kind of had like a pencil neck before in other figures here, and that always annoyed me because it just never looked good. In fact, I always felt they made the cowl look worse by association because the neck was always too small. So putting on the head sculpt over here, I'm just kind of checking the eyes. I want it kind of staring at me in a kind of an angry way. So again, only one mouth plate, so the eyes are going to be, again, a very important part of getting the aura of this Batman figure together. So just kind of putting them where I want it to be here, and it's a simple magnet like it's been in the past. I think that looks good. I mean, look at that. Let me kind of focus it in here real quick. Kind of just tweak the arms a little bit. Just want to give him that tougher pose to him. Look at that. Look at me. You can see here. Yeah, he's staring at you there. That looks so good. What do you guys think here? I personally think when you put it all together, it is a fine piece, definitely worth the price of admission alone. I wish it was offered separately, but that's another story for another day. I think they nailed this one personally. Okay, so we got Batman and Bruce Wayne all put together. We have our Armory all set up, and it's all lit up. I have it plugged into a USB-C cable. Overall here, I do like this here. I know I'm going back and forth, and I know this review isn't consistent, but that's how I feel. My opinions on this piece are very inconsistent because one second there's a lot of positives about this, and this is a worthwhile pickup for anybody. Then there's some of those cons that I mentioned earlier in the video that just really bug me. I don't like the choice of making it a power pose. I think that's universally, most people feel that way there. Maybe if I can put a body on this here, maybe I'd feel better about the set. You know, maybe kind of take the clothes off and put it on a regular body and maybe go out there and do that, and that might make me feel better about the set. But then it kind of annoys me, right? Because I could have just gotten that from Hot Toys, but now I got to spend more money on top of what I'm already investing in to get that. And I can understand for some folks, that's kind of a deal breaker, right? Because overall, this piece, in my opinion, is a quality of life upgrade compared to the original Armory and the 2.0, right? I think this is the superior Armory casing. I think everything I mentioned before about how the accessories are put together and they're not going to flip around and they're not going to fall off, you're not going to lose anything. That's nice to know that you don't have to worry about that. But it's no excuse for Hot Toys to give us this. This was a colossal miss on their side. I think they should have took the feedback when we originally said we weren't excited about this, and they should have just gave us a freaking body on this thing, man. It really is a shame. But I mean, that being said, it is what it is. Kind of, if you're going to buy the set, you're going to have to live with that there. I personally might just maybe buy a suit, kind of replicate the way the Armory 2.0 is going to be, and just call it a day, because I think that still looks very sophisticated for the set too. But moving along here, I want to do some comparisons. So I brought out my Artisan Joker here, just to kind of give you a little size comparison over here. They scale pretty much about equally the same here. I would say, obviously, Batman is going to have a little bit of an edge just because of obviously the horns on the top there, but these two look very nice to each other. So I just wanted to kind of give you guys an idea what this would look like if you happen to have a Joker in your collection as well too. So love the Artisan Joker. Mine's fantastic. I think it just looks great with this Batman in here. Now, granted, this is not the same suit that he wore in The Dark Knight, but it's close enough. If you're looking to get one Batman, I would say it's totally going to be fine. It's up to your own imagination. But overall, I think they look really good next to each other. All right, next we have the Batman Begins suit with the OT Customs head sculpt on it there, just to kind of compare the two. This is my favorite suit from the trilogy over here, so I just wanted to kind of bring that out just so you guys can kind of see how they look together. The Dark Knight suit is going to be a little bit taller. I think they scale very well to each other, and this was always a problem I had with the line early on. It's just that they all kind of scaled smaller compared to today's Hot Toys. That was always my biggest gripe, because full transparency, I've had everything from the Dark Knight from almost the beginning. And, you know, honestly, what really made it to where I wanted to get out of those original figures is because they were on smaller bodies back then that really just stuck out, and it was a sore thumb, and it's another way they looked and displayed in the collection. So I wound up getting rid of them over time, and here I am buying all my stuff all over again like a genius that I am. But all the same, they do look great together. I think they complement each other very well. I had the DX19. I sold that a while ago. I kind of wish I did it now. I should have just kept it and just used this as body. But then again, I didn't think I was going to get this either. So, you know, hindsight is 2020, I guess, here. But these two look great next to each other. They scale well. If you're going to build yourself out a Dark Knight trilogy display, these are going to look fantastic on the display there. So kind of moving on here, let's go on to the next comparison over here I got for you guys. And here we are, we have our match made in heaven here. So this is the new 2.0 Bane with the, I guess, 3, 4, 5, I lost count, version of the Dark Knight. These two look meant to be together because they are. They're coming from the same line. They're coming from the same movie. They look fantastic. I just love these two. I think I might, I don't know. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to use the Armory and put Batman in there or take them out and just make it on my personal Batman for display. But it would be hard for me to say. I would be lying if I didn't say I would like to put these guys next to each other because they look so good. I like the way the Joker looked. I like the way the Batman Begins looked, but I just feel like these two were just obviously meant to be. And I think that's where I'm going to put these here. Height-wise, I'm not sure if this is entirely accurate here. I mean, I looked up the respective heights of Tom Hardy and Christian Bale. Christian Bale is technically taller, but I think, I don't know, just this might be my eyes playing tricks on here, but I feel like Bane is slightly taller than just on the shoulders here. I can't speak. I mean, obviously with the cowl, again, the horns, Batman looks a little taller, but I don't know. For me, it just feels like maybe just because of big body on Bane, he just feels a little taller, and I think that might be just slightly embellished there. But they look great next to each other here. I'm super glad to have the appropriate Batman with the appropriate Bane here. These two are really going to pop on the shelf. So yeah, if you have a Bane, you are going to absolutely love having this Batman next one for sure. And just to give it one more different look here for the Batman here, I decided to put on the Bruce Wayne head sculpt with the empty cowl, so that way we can kind of just have them half and half here. I've always been a big fan. I always like when Batman does this in movies where he takes off the cowl, you just kind of see him in the suit, kind of head out only, still in the suit. I always love this look here. But then again, the trade-off is you have no Batman and you have no Bruce Wayne, so to speak. You're kind of mashing the two together, and then you have the Armory by itself. So this may not be realistic for me with how many Batman I have in the collection at the moment. Maybe if I decide I have a change of heart and I pick up the other Armory and maybe have two, maybe I can justify a little bit better. But I really do like this setup over here. Again, I wish the body situation with the power pose was different, but I mean, this right here is a nice matchup. If you don't want to use that body, this is always a great alternative because I just feel like this pops over here so much over here. So yeah, so guys, this is this quick little look of how I kind of like to display my Batman as well too, as an alternate when I get tired. But tell me what you guys think about this one. I personally really like this one. All right, and lastly, I just want to put it all back together, kind of put it in stock position, if you will. So I've got the bat suit inside of the Armory here. Now it's pretty easy to do this. I didn't show you how to do it because it's pretty straightforward. You take the cape off and you just kind of slot the Batman suit in there with the empty cowl. Just be careful with that here because this one is taller than the prior Armory, like I said earlier on in the review of the video here for the Armory part of the set. Now, having said that, it's a friction fit, so there's two little plastic prongs that kind of give you the illusion that they're hooked onto the suit. Now, when pushing the suit in there, be very, very careful because you can scrape the paint on that if you're not careful. So one little pro tip I wanted to share with you on that there, guys. I just noticed that, like, if you force the suit in there, it could potentially scrape up the paint. Now, it won't be a big deal because if you decide to use it as Batman, you put the cape on, you probably are not going to see it. But for those of us in the community that want to keep our figures in crisp condition, just be careful of that there when you're putting it there because it may potentially cause issues if you're too rough on that piece there. But that is going to do it for our Batman Armory review. I want to thank you guys for tuning in to this review today. It was a total blast to share my experience with the Batman Armory with you guys here today. I hope it was helpful. I hope it helped you guys decide whether or not this particular figure is going to be for you in your collection. For me, I will say that it's a bit mixed for me here. I'm not going to grade it and give it a number because I just don't feel like that's very fair, because to be honest with you here, I'm kind of indecisive how I feel. I love it 1 second, I kind of don't like it 1 second. So it really is a mixed bag. Now, obviously, just highlighting the pros real quick again, the Batman in front of you is fantastic. It is no question in my mind, this is hands down the best Batman that Hot Toys has ever made. Having said that, there's still some things that could be better, like the cowl. The cowl is a lot of an improvement from the DX19, but I still feel like there is a gap. Plus, I do not like the fact, and this seems very petty, but there's only one faceplate. I mentioned it earlier, but I'm going to kind of address that again. One faceplate, when we're used to getting 3 or 4, feels really like cheap on my side here. I just feel like I'm not getting the total value of that there. But that is being said, the faceplate that they do include is perfectly fine. I think it's okay. The cons, of course, here, the power pose suit there, or whatever you want to call it, shirt and shorts with the knee brace. It's fine. It gets the job done, but I just feel like it leaves a little bit to be desired, in my opinion here. But all in all, I say this is a worthwhile pickup. I would say if you're a fan, of course, the Dark Knight Rises Armory like I am, it's definitely worth your time to see if you may like it for yourself. Personally, I don't think I'm going to get the 2.0 Armory. We'll see. I know time will always tell with me with these things, because this wasn't supposed to happen either. But having said all that there, I think it's got a great Batman suit. It's a great armory. I say 2 out of 3 things were done really well. 1 could have been done better there. So, you know, we'll see what happens with the newest one here, that being the 2.0 that comes out later this year. But for now, this hands down is going to be the best Batman that you're going to get on the market from Hot Toys. So thank you guys so much again for watching. It's been my pleasure doing this with you here. If you do guys like the content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification if you want more content like this in the future. This is Deal the Collector signing off. Say, keep on collecting.